Good Friday morning, Mid-Michigan. I'm First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro with a look at your Friday and weekend First Alert forecast. Now, if you are making plans for the weekend already, the one thing that I do want you to know is that it is going to be a cold weekend. We actually have a cold front on the way for tonight. That is really going to cool those temperatures off, especially into tomorrow. And that cold front will also bring a few snow showers with it too as we go into tonight. I actually do want to touch on the temperatures from this morning, though, real quick. It certainly was a cold morning across mid-Michigan. Take a look at this here. The official observed low temperature for Caro was -6. That was one of the coldest spots all morning long. -2 was the official low in Bad Axe, and even around West Branch. I do remember earlier this morning seeing -2 at one point there as well. But what happened overnight is that we had some clearing skies into a lot of those northern areas and also across much of the Thumb. That was able to really allow those temperatures to just drop off like a rock throughout the overnight. So if you woke up around Caro or Cass City or Pigeon or Ubly or Bad Axe this morning especially, it definitely was a cold start to the day. Now, on the First Alert Pinpoint Doppler, we do have some cloud coverage starting to build in. You can kind of see this here starting to come back in from the west side of the state. Now, eventually, with the mostly cloudy skies, we'll have highs back up to about 26 or 27 for the afternoon. And that wind today, southwesterly at just 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's actually going to be a pretty quiet daytime here for this Friday, but we are tracking some of those snow showers once again for tonight, and then we are tracking those cold temperatures for the weekend. But with our highs in the mid to upper 20s today, our wind chills will eventually make their way into the upper teens for the afternoon. So we are tracking again relatively quiet Friday ahead before that cold front moves through tonight. I'll take you over to the First Alert hour by hour just to show you what we're expecting for the rest of the daytime. So again, we have that cloud coverage already building up out there. A few snow showers, very isolated snow showers, could even move in towards Clare, Mount Pleasant, Alma, or Ithaca during the mid-afternoon today, and possibly a few more of these very isolated snow showers even near the dinner hour at about 6 o'clock. But really the main time frame for tonight with these snow showers because of the cold front is going to be between approximately midnight and 4 a.m. So that's where we see the coverage of these snow showers picking up the most. Just a scattered light snow, and they'll be out of here by about 4 in the morning tomorrow. So very early departure of these snow showers. Now behind that, we could have just a very small lingering snow shower or even just sort of a flurry as we go into the daytime on Saturday. But realistically, during the daytime on Saturday, those snow chances are very small. So the majority of any sort of snow over these next couple of days is going to be with what we pick up tonight with the cold front. We're tracking about 1/2 of an inch to an inch of snowfall area-wide here for mid-Michigan. Should be a little bit of a fluffier snow as well, but certainly enough that as you head out tomorrow morning, say you have some plans this weekend to do some holiday shopping and you maybe want to get that early start for the daytime, you might have a little bit of snow to brush off the car if you leave that parked outside for tonight. So I do want to make you aware of that in regard to our snow chances. Now, one thing to point out for the weekend, again, these snow shower chances the rest of the weekend during the day, both Saturday and Sunday, those are both pretty small. But the temperatures, on the other hand, pretty cold, especially for tomorrow. We officially have a high of 14 for tomorrow, which we may have to end up taking that temp down a couple of degrees as well. I do think much of tomorrow will end up being spent in the single digits, and then we make our way back up to about 21 or even 22 as we go into the afternoon on Sunday. So no doubt Sunday is also going to be a chilly day, but just not quite as cold as tomorrow is going to be. But that's just that reminder again, if you have weekend plans, if you're doing some holiday shopping, just in case you end up having to wait outside anywhere, it's definitely going to be a day to have some of the extra layers and even have those gloves and a scarf and a hat ready to go. And for this weekend too, maybe you're thinking of taking the kids sledding after all the fresh snow that we got. Certainly would be a good weekend for that, but also just a good weekend to make sure the kids are also bundled up very well if they are going to the sledding hill. Now, whether it's sledding or snowmobiling or skiing, this is going to be the weekend you're going to want to take advantage of, though. Take advantage of all these conditions and the fresh snow because we are tracking some warmer temperatures as we go into next week, especially towards the middle to latter parts of next week. Not only will we see temps warmer than the last couple of weeks, they'll actually almost be knocking on the door of 40 degrees on some of those days as well. So that is definitely something that we are tracking a little bit further ahead in the forecast. We'll go ahead and take a quick break here real quick, and after the break, we'll talk more about what to expect with those temps as we look into next week. Alrighty, welcome back from that break. So looking ahead in the forecast after this cold weekend, we actually do have some relatively milder temperatures on the way in the forecast, and it will feel like quite a change too, especially after all of the colder weather recently, and of course those temperatures that we're expecting from this weekend as well. Take a look at this here. That First Alert 7-day forecast is highlighting temps up to about 37 on Wednesday, 39 on Thursday. It is certainly going to, again, be warmer than a lot of the temperatures from recently. We do expect around that time, even say a place like Flint or Grand Blanc may be able to reach up to about 40 degrees, if not low 40s during the afternoon, especially on Thursday. But either way, it does look pretty warm for, or rather in comparison to some of this recent weather by the time we get into that Wednesday and Thursday time frame. And even on Tuesday, you'll start to notice it just a little bit as well, with highs up to about 31 on Tuesday afternoon. So that is that milder trend that we are tracking for you in the forecast. But going back to this weekend, it is again going to be cold. We even have those single-digit lows coming up for the weekend. 9 degrees tonight, 4 degrees tomorrow night, and then about 6 degrees on Sunday night. But just to show you that weekend planner, tomorrow in particular, we are going to be tracking some very cold temps, almost in the single digits for most of the day. So just, again, continuing to give you that first alert that you'll want to have all of that cold weather gear ready to go if you'll be outside at any point for your Saturday. Now for our ice fishers, this is actually some great news though still with this cold weather, especially with all the cold weather we've had since Thanksgiving. So we've been building up ice on rivers and streams, on some of the inland lakes, and even on the Saginaw Bay, more of that ice coverage is starting to build up as well. We are still saying that not all of this ice is going to be safe ice. So that is still something to keep in mind a little bit early in the season here, but we do have more of that ice building up out there. So at least some good news for our ice fishers. And as we look ahead to the weekend too, like I was saying about just taking advantage of these conditions if you are someone who participates in those winter sports or winter hobbies. Maybe you're going skiing this weekend too. Some of the more local ski hills for us, Mount Holly and Mount Brighton, they both have good bases set up as of right now. So it would be a good weekend to take advantage of some of these conditions, especially considering that warmer weather that we have on the way towards the end of next week. So just want to make you aware of that. Now, I will say the hope, at least for those of us who do participate in those winter sports, is that we won't see too much of an impact to the ice coverage or too much of an impact to the snowpack that we've already built up because of some of that warmer weather. No doubt, I think we will end up seeing some more settling with the snow, and we may actually lose a little bit of ice in those temperatures too. But the hope is that we don't see a major change or almost sort of a complete start over. So that would definitely not be good in regard to those winter sports if we end up just seeing those conditions kind of erased because of that warmer weather. So that is definitely something that we will be keeping a close eye on as we go throughout the weekend and as we go into next week. But in the meantime, though, we do hope that you stay warm this weekend and that you do have a great weekend ahead of you too. Well, coming up today at 2 in the afternoon, meteorologist Diane Phillips will be right here on all these same channels for another live stream with another look at the weekend forecast and also some forecast extras as well. So that'll again be coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon. But in the meantime, we hope you have a great remainder of your Friday morning, and again, have a great weekend as well.